Now, the other day, I was listening to Bill Belichick's appearance on the Pat McAfee show, and I don't know if y'all peeped this, but Bill Belichick, ever since he took this North Carolina job, he just feels different. Something is just different about him. He's more happier. He just has a new energy about himself. And I've never seen him this happy before. He has a wide smile on his face. Pat McAfee is asking him, how's it going, making the adjustment from the NFL to college football. And he's just smirking, saying, the transition really isn't that bad. As a matter of fact, it's a lot similar to the NFL. He compared the transfer portal process similar to NFL free agency and after the NFL draft when you're trying to sign undrafted rookie free agents who go undrafted. Bill Belichick, it seems like he already has a pretty good understanding of how to work the portal. He also said that there are agents that he has worked with in the past when it came to representing NFL players that he has spoken to, because these agents with the new era of NIL, they're representing players at the collegiate level also. So there are players that have wanted to play for Bill Belichick. And it's no surprise because, listen, if your goal is to make it to the NFL and you really care about being developed for the next level and you're not chasing the bag, then there's no other head coach who's more qualified to help you reach your dreams than Bill Belichick. This man is an 8-time Super Bowl champion. He coached two of the greatest football players ever, Lawrence Taylor and Tom Brady. And what kind of irritates me is how people try to shit on Bill Belichick's legacy because they try to say, oh, well, he ain't nothing without Tom Brady. Defense wins championships, right? Who found Tom Brady? Bill Belichick. Do you not also know how many other gems Bill Belichick has found late in the draft? Like, Bill Belichick is one of the best football talent evaluators in the history of this game. If there's anybody who knows talent, it's Bill Belichick. And he's not just finna be in the portal just buying up all the best guys available. He's going to be watching film, properly evaluating guys who are going kind of a little bit underneath the rug in terms of, they may not be highly rated. Nobody really is paying attention to them. But Bill Belichick looks at them and says, you know what? If I bring you into North Carolina, I put you in this scheme, I think that I can get the most out of you and I can help develop you. And that's evident with him recently signing a center from Holy Cross. That was pretty good. And when I looked up this center, it didn't seem like a lot of people were really after him. And then you probably are going to see a few more not really highly touted guys who Bill Belichick ends up signing. And they end up becoming some of the best players on this football team next season. Now, of course, he also has gone after some of the better talent out there, not just in the portal, but in recruiting as well. He recently was able to land his first recruit, quarterback Bryce Baker. Now, Bryce Baker was already previously committed to North Carolina before Bill Belichick got there, but with Matt Brown being forced out, he kind of reopened up his commitment. So he kind of was thinking about going elsewhere. According to reports, he was leaning towards signing with James Franklin and Penn State. But Bill Belichick gets there and he says, Bryce, come on to UNC, man. I'm going to get you right. He was at the basketball game with Bryce Baker. He got a outstanding ovation from the crowd in attendance. And Bryce Baker does have a lot of potential. He looks like a more bigger and more athletic version of Bryce Young. He's a 4-star recruit, 8th-ranked quarterback coming out of the 2025 cycle, and he was a top 100 player as well. So Bill Belichick, it looks like he's not really having too many issues with the NIL and the transfer portal, like how a lot of people in the media initially thought, because, as expected, with college football pretty much being no different from what the NFL is, it should be no stranger to Bill Belichick, how to be able to handle negotiations. And even on the Pat McAfee show, he said, yeah, we've made a few deals with a few players. We've been throwing money around. You feel me? Like, Bill Belichick understands what's going on. And that's why he took this job. That's why I believe Bill Belichick is going to succeed at the collegiate level, because it's no longer about going into these living rooms of these recruits, meeting their parents. Same thing with the portal players. It's all about, do you have a bag for me, and can you develop me? And Bill Belichick checks the boxes of both of those things. If Jim Harbaugh was able to win at Michigan and go back to the NFL, and he's now having success with the Chargers, and even before he took the Michigan job, he was successful at Stanford, he was successful with the 49ers. Jimmy Johnson, same way. If you are a great coach, it doesn't matter what level you're coaching at. It may be some slight differences between the NFL and the collegiate game, but good coaches just know how to coach anybody they're playing. And everybody that talks about Bill Belichick, when you listen to his former players, they always say that if there's anybody who can coach you up, there's nobody better than Bill Belichick. He just understands the game of football inside and out. And I was listening to Julian Edelman when him and Rob Gronkowski were on Marshawn Lynch's podcast, and they were asking him, how is Bill Belichick when it comes to, managing relationships with players? And Julian Edelman said that Bill Belichick doesn't coach every player the same way. Certain players, he may try to pee them off because he knows that they play better or they practice better when they're angry. And certain players, he may not give them a tougher time than other players because they don't respond well to it. But overall, Bill Belichick, he's pretty good at being able to adapt his coaching style to whoever he's coaching, which is what makes him such a great teacher of the game, which is why this is going to work. Somebody said, what's revolutionary about Bill Belichick taking this UNC job? What's revolutionary is that you got the greatest head coach in the history of the NFL coaching collegiate ball. We've never seen a head coach with this resume ever at this level. And that's why UNC, they went ahead and they pulled the trigger on them, although they probably had other candidates who they wanted. If you were going to make a big swing hire to, get people excited about this football program, to get people to buy in, to get the boosters to buy in, Bill Belichick is that guy, because with the NFL model, it works well in collegiate athletics now because most teams, most of the top programs have a general manager. They have somebody that oversees, the allocation of funds. And all Bill Belichick really has to do is worry about the football. What makes Bill Belichick so revolutionary is that when it just comes to understanding and teaching the game of football, there's no better coach that you're going to find but him. This dude is going to be coaching circles around Dabo Swinney because UNC doesn't have a good schedule. The two toughest games on their schedule are North Carolina State and Clemson. And listen, I don't want to see Cade Klubnik going up against a Bill Belichick coach defense. One thing about it, Bill Belichick ain't going to be giving up 70 points to a school like James Madison, and I can bet you money on that one. There's just so many good things about Bill Belichick. The fact that he's just such a great teacher and players are going to be learning from one of the best students of the games ever, one of the best teachers of the game, is what makes this such a revolutionary hire. Bill Belichick, yeah, he knows what an NFL caliber defensive end looks like, but he doesn't necessarily always go after the biggest and the fastest guy. Sometimes he's just looking for the guy that understands the fundamentals, that with a little bit more coaching, he can blossom into a better player than what expected. That's why I love this Bill Belichick hire by North Carolina, and that's why I believe it's going to work out. And it's just with the new energy that Bill Belichick has, it looks like he's way more happier to be coaching college football than what he was in the NFL, because anytime I've seen Bill Belichick in the NFL, he always had this grumpy demeanor about him. But ever since, he's been doing more appearances in the media, he's gotten his own podcast, Bill Belichick actually has a personality. And he wouldn't bag a 24-year-old girlfriend if he didn't have a little bit of charisma about him. And he's a pretty funny guy. I don't know how much he's going to be able to relate to the players, but he should at least be able to get along with them. And plus, if you're winning games, then it doesn't really matter at the end of things because winning solves everything. And a lot of these players, they know who Bill Belichick is. When you remember Tom Brady hoisting up all those Lombardi trophies, who is right next to him? Bill Belichick. His resume speaks volumes. And it speaks to, the kind of guy Bill Belichick is with all of these agents reaching out because their clients, these guys in the portal, these guys out of high school, they want to be coached by the GOAT. They want to be developed. They want to be taught the game of football. Like, there's not a better teacher of this game but Bill Belichick. This dude, he can talk about 4 or 5 hours straight about special teams, offense. He's not just a defensive-minded coach. When I saw Bryce Baker pretty much recommit to North Carolina, what I often saw in the comment section was folks saying, why would he commit to a defensive coach? If you watch Bill Belichick's Coach Podcast, go look up Coach Podcast. Bill Belichick. This dude is breaking down offensive formations. He's not just talking about defense. He's breaking down pass protections. He's breaking down the empty formations. Like Bill Belichick, this dude is a football nerd. He's a football aficionado. Rob Gronkowski was saying this dude understands situational football. There was never a single game that the Patriots went into when they were unprepared. I mean, all week throughout practice, Bill Belichick would be going through trends in the league. He would be saying, hey, when we go into this game, be prepared for this situation. Then the situation comes up during the games, and the Patriots players knew how to handle it. This is elite top-tier coaching that you often don't see at the collegiate level. A lot of these coaches are good, but most of the times they're only good because of the talent that they have around them, and they can hire good coordinators. Like Bill Belichick really understands the game of football to a degree that I don't think any other collegiate head coach has been able to outside of Nick Saban. That's why Nick Saban is the GOAT of college football. And that's why Bill Belichick is the GOAT of the NFL, because they understand situational football. They understand how to teach and how to develop players. And that's what makes this so revolutionary. His knowledge of the game, his ability to break it down, to prepare his team. I just think that North Carolina just completely knocked this hire out the park by getting Bill Belichick. And with his energy, the fact that he just seems more happy, I don't think there should be any question about if he's going to be able to get along with these collegiate athletes. And he already has a pretty good grasp on the transfer portal and NIL. Like, oh, well, he's going to hate having to deal with players asking for more money transferring out. They were already doing that at the NFL level, baby. Come on now. There is no difference in the collegiate game than the NFL. There were players in the NFL that played under Bill Belichick because he was a GM too. They would go up to him and be like, hey, I want a raise. I want a contract extension. And Bill Belichick wouldn't budge. The only players I remember Bill Belichick giving contract extensions to were Rob Gronkowski, Julian Edelman, and Tom Brady. That's about it. I think this is a great hire, man. This thing is going to work